Very happy to have you to here today, Pat. Very much enjoyed our last conversations and been working with you for a number of months now on your side. Tell you what, just to give a little introduction, you mind just kind of introducing who you are, what you're all about, and kind of just telling everybody what your role is on your side.
So a little bit about myself is I worked at JP Morgan on the private bank side, and coming from rural central Illinois, I saw about how much people, what they weren't getting. And I don't know why one of those virtues is it sticks out to me. Like I was the guy in class, right? To be like, if somebody got to the front of class, like, no, 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 no. Nope. It's her turn to go to, nope. It's her turn to go lead the lunch line. And that was me. JP Morgan was such a great training ground because you got to see all of the different idiosyncrasies of a really well thought out bank, right? Jamie Dimon is one of I respect the most in the industry. So then you get to see mortgages, you see investments, you get to see how some type of the private equity deals go on, business owners, just the day to day of how you interact. So I saw that. And then what I saw though was we technically were fiduciaries, but we could only offer what JP Morgan allowed us to offer. And that's okay. It's a franchise model. So that could be, Edward Jones, Raymond James, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. They're great firms. But what I saw is like, well, the pain points my clients are following is taxes or debt. And I'm thinking, Pat, we can't really give that advice. We kind of have to give them three options for that. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want them to pay this extra money when I know that they're really paying 80% effective interest cost. So what we did is we didn't know it back then, but we started to build what's called a virtual private wealth family office, which basically means you actually have to have $25 million or more to have access to all of these professionals in one. So my job is to coordinate all of that, Ethan, and be like, okay, there's nothing worse than be like, okay, we'll wait for 2 days to get the taxes from the CPA. But then once we get that, now we can work on the trust. Well, how about we just coordinate all of that? But it's not a one-stop shop as much as it's a one-stop answer. Yep, I got you. We'll get you with that person. It's the best that I've vetted in the industry, and we'll get you that next stop. So that's what we did. We built a virtual private wealth family office. We got fortunate with AI. And of course, after COVID, it really exploded.
Definitely. And so, I mean, talking about this area, there's always a lot of complexities with the customers you work with, a lot of frustrations that they run into when they have to work with you to gather the documents or the questions or the answers that you need to be able to provide. What have you seen on your side that allows this system to work so much better than other systems?
The system, because that's a great point. It's that people don't have systems. You and me have talked offline about systems, architecture, infrastructure, processes. It seems foreign, but it's just not that tough. It's that first 70% just getting there. So what I've seen is I always talk about documentation and substantiation, right? So strategies are great. Like what could we do? Well, what we don't quite realize is, the CPA world is they're the referee of the game. They're there just to make sure that no one gets in trouble and people follow the rules, but they're not the coach. The coach is actually going to give you the strategy of where to go. So if we know the rules to the game by the referee, i.e. CPA, well, now we could go talk to the coach. However, if we don't know the rules to the game, documentation and substantiation throughout the year, tax time is not going to feel too fun.
Definitely.
What I found was that pain was they're like, oh my gosh, you're saying that this is all done each month? Yes. Yep. So now we can take advantage of the strategy or that analogy to the coach.
You kind of alluded the advantages that AI's brought into this world, right? And so we're kind of at a crossroads where we have this legacy version of how to do the inputs, right? The accounting, the bookkeeping efforts, basically having the conversation with the coach of understanding the rules, to now we have this AI capability. And what are the differences you're seeing now when working with customers? Are you seeing a lot more questions get asked on your side? Are you able to provide quicker responses because of AI? Where do you see the impact of AI really hitting the hardest when it comes to not only yourself, but your customers too at the same time?
Yeah, that's very important. I think what needs to be stated first is of them understanding what exactly AI is. So there's multiple people, and you get the whole gamut of what they think it is. And it's just like, this is the more efficient way to calculate numbers. So if not just that though, it's an extra level. So remember, I'll bring them back to the calculator versus long division game. I go, remember that? Like, I don't want to put all my numbers in this calculator. Then all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, how could we ever go back? So I said, if you take that standpoint, just stay with me there, Mr. or Mrs. Business owner or consumer. So now I go, I want you to know how it feels. So I go so I put him in a situation. So I said, you're at a restaurant with your husband or your wife, and then you swipe the card. Now we know maybe that if we have a strategy coming on, we may have to document the minutes because we talked about business at that meal. So put it in your phone. Funny, but have some humor. Now, when you get home, you don't have to go put something back in there. AI already did it for you. And then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, Pat, that makes sense. And I said, yes, it just makes it simple. And again, great. Now you don't have to go back in there. Go hold your wife's hand, go on a walk, come back and watch a movie, right? And now you can enjoy life. It simplifies the granularity of the stuff that we don't want to do.
Definitely. And Pat, that's always been something from our side in Uplinq that we notice all the time that our customers, our small business owners that we work with, they didn't get into running a small business because they wanted to worry about the numbers or do accounting efforts or finances at the end of the day. They had a passion for a select industry and they want to grow the business. They want to work with it. But just as you said, they want to spend the evenings with the family. They want to watch a movie, right? They don't want to be doing that at the end of the day. And so we've developed a relationship together on our side, you working with us at Uplinq to help facilitate the growth of the small business owner through the financial side. Why choose us at the end of the day? What was it about us that stood out to you guys on your side? I mean, you guys being the financial experts and the understanding of all the little details in there, but the assembly of the finances, right? Putting the items together to be able to provide to the coach, using that analogy again. Why choose us at the end of the day?
So this will probably be the biggest compliment I could ever give you. Is you ever heard about, I think it's on Masterclass, but it's Neil Tyson deGrasse. I think he's the
Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yep.
Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson. The best verbiage I could ever say is, unfortunately, in our industry or in a lot of financial profession industries, whatever your profession is, they know enough about a subject they think they're right. Do you know, have you seen this?
Yeah.
But they don't know enough about the subject, or they don't want to challenge themselves to know enough about a subject to think that they possibly could be wrong. Now, I'm not going to do this, what he does, right? So what I did was, as I'm on this journey to be like, okay, how do I stay relevant to my clients with a little bit of humor, because that's me, but solve their problem? And one of it was taxes. And a lot of it, as I got into it, are like, tax time is just XYZ. So I interviewed several AI companies that do bookkeeping. And I interviewed several bookkeepers. And what I found was then the bookkeeper was unorganized because they needed their own systems and processes. So then I would have to rely on that person. Then I have key man or key woman risk. If they leave that business, that next person, they don't have systems, processes, infrastructure. So I'm like, okay, it's not going to be a person bookkeeper. Maybe sometimes if they need me. Then I said, all right. So I found Uplinq. And I'm like, again, I'm going to vet or talk, and I'm always with an open mind. And then ultimately it was like, this is great. So walk me through your process. So then all of a sudden I became a client. And this is before we even started talking about professional partnerships, right? Strategically. And I'm like, this feels good, right? I'm a business owner. I have 7 entities. And I'm like, this is great. And they're going to do this. And then now they're going to do my catch-up stuff. Cause I'm like, I do not want to do the catch-up work. I'm like, you do that? Awesome. Right. So then as I started to feel it, I'm like, okay, I got to tell people about this. And that's when it clicked. And then all of a sudden I got to meet Matt. I got to meet Ethan. I got to meet Allie. I got to meet Kim. I got to meet Eric. I got to meet Ashley, right? Now it's your people. So that speaks to this. And this is a point, if I can make any point of this whole conversation, it's this. It's Jensen Huang, who is the CEO of NVIDIA, as you know. They asked him about 2 months ago or a month ago, they said, who's the smartest person that you know or you've ever met? And he thought about it. And he goes, it was a coder. And he's like, he was like the Mozart of coding. And the next one, she's like, you know what? No, I'm going to take that back. That what I see over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, the smartest people that I know are going to be ingratiated in that technology, but can connect on a human level. AI is there to elevate and support. I would love to do coding. However, I don't know it. Guess what? I can go to Claude Code and go do that. We built 5 businesses in 7 months. And guess what? That is the difference of why I say, hey, Ethan and Uplinq, it's the people.
Definitely. And I think that's where, especially when we try to broadcast what we do, who we are on our side, it's not, I mean, we love to talk about the AI and the capabilities that it has, but the capabilities that we're striving for is making our people that much more efficient, that much more dedicated to the entities that they're working with, to the people that they're working with at the end of the day. Because what we're trying to do is it's those simple problems, it's those mundane problems that eat up your day's worth of time, that take you away from the complexity of managing a business owner, right? Or working with a relationship. And so that's why at the end of the day for us, it's not just like, oh, we're doing AI and it's doing everything, right? No, you're still working with somebody on our team, right? And there's an AI that's working with them to make them more efficient, to make the other team members more efficient. Just as you said, right? We have team members that can interchange in and out depending on their specialty to be able to work with you on the most complex problems, but still have the entire granular set of data of what's happened on this account, where have we gotten to, where did we come from on it, right at their fingertips, because it's so much easier now with the AI to be able to parse through and understand the context of a situation. And so I appreciate you highlighting, especially the personnel side, because it isn't. At the end of the day,
And
it's
I
not
will,
just the AI, right?
yeah, and I will, you're absolutely right. People like percentages. I would call it like 25-75, right? 25% AI, 75% the person, because it's great. People say all the great things something can do until you actually see it and go through it. And, this is a shout out to Alyssa on your team, that my assistants on there, we're all 3 of us are laughing as she's quantifying our expenses, or if it's an owner's draw or what have you. But now you have the oversight of a real person. AI just makes all of the calculations and the coordination. I just call it like you go into a room and it's decluttered. Now you could actually have a talk. And Alyssa's like, okay, all we're going to solve today is this, this, and this. We look forward to it. Now we're like, all right, what are we doing next, Alyssa? And and she's funny. And she's like, I really enjoyed talking to you, Pat, and you and Rachel. I'm like, well, this is a lot better than me getting the receipts out of my pocket and then going to, I'm not going to name any other platforms. But yeah, it's not, that manual entry stuff is not fun. Now your brain has the capacity to go concentrate on your business, or you make that one more phone call. Like I'm a big congratulate, compliment, or console. Now I can just go call Allie and say, hey, saw that you just, you graduated with a master's degree, let's say. Hey, congratulations. You would have had that bandwidth to do that one outreach or warm one touch if you're pulling out receipts and saying, did I really tip $23 on a 10 thing? What is this, right? Who knows? It's already figured out for you. So that's
And
what I like about it, because it creates the human, and then that allows you to grow your business organically.
And Pat, it's almost interesting just to go down that track a little bit deeper. You're starting to talk about removing the frustration of dealing with book. I mean, you're saying bookkeeping's fun, which is a wild statement for I think a lot of people to hear, almost in a sense.
I think it's fun because you get to revisit what you don't have to do anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
fun, right?
and you hit on something that I think I've never actually even quite quantified this yet. So you're kind of bringing this to light for me too, is you have now mental bandwidth to go do things that are more engaging, right? And I've always approached it as we're saving time. Now you can go grow your business. But if you look at it from saving the frustration side, you have that much more emotional capital to go talk to your team members, check in with them, right? That being able to work with these types of systems, you're saving on your mental capacity to go do more fun things like encouragement to the team. Just as you said, that's such an important topic, isn't it? That being able to work with a business like that.
It's everything. And thank the Lord that God sent me Jill. Jill's my better half, and she's just such an amazing woman. And she's downstairs right now because she's on a call. She's an executive at Aldi, and she has a 15-minute one-on-one with each one of her team members a week. And we're having coffee or something. I'm dancing or something and trying to make her laugh in the kitchen. So she's like, Pat, you need to start one-on-ones with 15 minutes. Well, guess what? If I'm doing bookkeeping, I don't have that. So now I got to say, hey, what's important to you, Ethan? Like, hey, what's important to you, Allie? I know that I talked to Razel, which is our senior operations coordinator. I'm like, how's Julius doing, her husband? How's Giselle doing, their daughter? It's a mix of Julius and Razel, so I didn't want to confuse you there. But she's like, well, Pat, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, I'm a servant leader and I've done a poor job and I failed you to ask about your family more and then what I can do to, eventually allow you to spend more time with them. And what that's allowed to, and this is, I mean, you can vet it, you can talk to Razel yourself. Where my goal for them is by Q4, we don't work Fridays. Fridays are off for them. We can do just as much efficiently in 4 to 6 hours a day in the first 4 days of the week. You get a 3-day weekend every weekend. I'll be here on Friday. I'll be taking appointments, but that's again, leaders eat last. That's just it, right? And that's okay. I would have never thought about that if I had to do the bookkeeping, right? But, and more importantly, the bookkeeping is it's the foundation to be able to do the fun stuff. Like, what? I do this strategy and you're going to tell me for every $100 I invest in myself, you're going to give me back 217. I'm like, yeah, I go, but add a zero to that. So what do you mean? For every $1,000 you invest in yourself, you're going to give me back $2,117? And I'm like, well, that's just an estimate. I'm like, if it goes higher than that, that's all you have to invest. They're like, well, where do I sign up? I go, let me introduce you to Matt.
Yep.
I mean, you
No,
know
it
what I'm
is.
saying, Ethan? And it's like, then you're taking it from like, you're listening to them, solving a problem, and then the next step is this. Like, yeah, they just want to know that there's a next option.
Yep. Yeah, and it is. It's giving the business owner the visibility to not be worried about what's going on. I mean, you'd said excited already, sit down, work. It's an organized room coming into it. Seeing a non-cluttered room, just walking in, right, relieves the stress a little bit, right? You still have tasks to do, right? There's still work to be done, but it's not so stressful. It's very approachable. You know what you need to do. And like you said, the tax it takes off your mental state to be able to work with the rest of your team members or
No
go to
pun
that
intended.
next business
No pun
meeting.
intended. The tax, right? No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like Dan Martell will call it like deep focus work. So now you can get into the deep focus work, which really moves the needle. And, the first thing you want to do is like, I consult some business owners. I'm like, let me see your calendar. And of that, what, 20 to 40% of their time is the work that really moves the needle. I'm like, okay, well, let's start to chip away at that. Then let's get slightly better. And then all of a sudden they go from 30 to 40, maybe to 50%. That extra 10% on deep focus work just moved the needle by $316,000 this quarter. They're like, Pat, what else do you have? I'm like, let me tell you about Kim. You know what I mean? So it's funny, but it's like it's found money. And that's exactly why 93% of business owners, Ethan, are overpaying the IRS.
Yep. No,
I love the IRS. They get their fair share, but there's nothing better to being the Robin Hood legal. The Robin Hood, the legal Robin Hood of being like, let me take this and put it back in your pocket.
Definitely. Beautiful. Well, Pat, I much appreciate having the conversation. If I can grab one more good soundbite from you, we've kind of talked around the horn a bunch of different conversations with this. Who do you see us best serving? I mean, you kind of explained why you chose working with us. What do you see the future of us looking like? Who would you recommend us to at the end of the day?
What a great question. So the way that I see it going is this. There's so much information. There's so much education out there between ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, of course, Anthropic, all of the AI type stuff. Well, Gary Vee I listened to a Gary Vee thing, and he mentioned that there will be more 25-year-old millionaires in the next 5 to 10 years than there ever's been, right? So what do they do though? They will be probably being more of entrepreneurs. Guess what we need with entrepreneurs? Now they need business entity optimization. From a very simplistic level is, okay, we get an LLC. Well, there's no real tax there. It's just we're limiting the liability. Now it's education, right? But then at the threshold of that is, well, shoot. Well, what if I own a salon and then those seats fill up? Those people that I'm taking care of in my care, they're technically all their own business. Now I can add that as almost like a human resource element to those 9 stylists. And let's say they bring in their white lights or their, what are they called? The glow lights that we all have on ourselves now that makes me look.
The ring lights.
Yeah, the ring lights. So then all of that is a business expense versus going out of your personal account. But then all of a sudden they have an advisor and they say, are you looking to buy a house in the next 2 years? Yes. Well, we may want to take a little bit more income for reasonable compensation because we need to get you a house. So now that's where I see where you're so primed because that next era isn't going to be 9 to 5, go to college, do that. It's going to be, I can go make the similar amount of money. They understand that life isn't just about going to work and then, God forbid, something happening to them. It's about living a full life. And I use Tony Robbins with that. It's the science of achievement. You can always get there, right? It's all the things we talked about, systems, habits, all of that stuff. And that's that hustle grind culture. But then you get into the art of fulfillment. Now you can spend it with faith, family, fitness, finances. I can dance in the kitchen and have froth on my mustache because I gave my wife a kiss and I love Jill. And you know what I'm saying? That's where I see you guys doing it. But it's like, it's not just the thing. It's what the thing is that allows us to do the real thing. And it's okay to make money and earn a living by doing the thing, though.
Yeah. No,
So
100%.
that's so long way around. That's where I see you really impacting a lot of lives and why I'm such an advocate of you guys.
Beautiful. Pat, I appreciate the kind words. This has been such a good partnership through this point. I'm very, very excited for what the future yields. Um, Appreciate you taking the time here to talk with
You're going
me.
to get tired of me. You're just going to get tired of me. You're going to be like, you're going to get tired of me.
I think I'll be all right. These conversations are always pretty fun, so I think we'll be all right. But beautiful, Pat. Well, I appreciate the time. Look forward to the continuing a long-lasting relationship and partnership here as we go forward, and very, very excited for the future holds for what that means as well.
Absolutely. And likewise from all the Pinnacle family, God bless. And we just are very optimistic with you guys. And, we just keep doing the right thing step by step.
Thank you so much, Pat.
Yep. God bless.